Hello everyone! Today I'd like to talk about the plugin for Figma Physics Animation. Here's how it looks on Figma community. Click on Install. Now let me check the plugin. Right click, Plugins Physics Animation. What does it consist of? The tab Custom is the main work area. Here are all the animation settings. Here you can customize the animation. On the right side, the list of layers. Now there are no layers in a particular frame. The Library tab. Here are templates that the developers provide, the capabilities of this plugin. Let's click on any template you like. Go to Source. We are redirected to a template prepared by the developers. But since you don't have permissions to this template, to run the animation, you first need to duplicate this project. Let's click on Duplicate button. Now we have permissions. We can open any frame via the plugin. Let's open this one. Plugins Physics Animation. At this point, the rendering of animation starts. The animation will be rendered until we press the button Show Result, or it has a time limit. When it seems that the animation has already finished, click on the button Show Result. And here is the result. Let's move on. Let's open the frame with the Figma logo. We open the plugin and nothing happens here, because the gravity parameter is set to disable gravity. Here you can choose one of the direction where the animation will move to, be it down, left, right. What is the cool feature of disable gravity? None of the side attract the object. We have the ability to control elements here. We can take one of the elements and push it towards the other elements, and they will start interacting with each other. We can export the result in GIF, SVG animation, BABAM video. Moreover, the coolest export is SVG because you get SVG, doesn't weigh too much, it has all the animation set up and awesome resolution. Now let's try to make any animation. For that, create a frame. Let's draw a circle. Choose a color. When we open the plugin, animation starts immediately. The rendering is finished and each figure gets physical properties. If we add more figures, physical properties are added to all of them. Click on Show Result. Here you can see the animation. During rendering, we can move the objects and it will be safe. But this can be done only while rendering, because once you click on Show Result, we can't change anything else. On the right side, there are layers of the frame. Let's assume that we need to link a few layers. Let's add a letter and see what happens. When we open the plugin, each element is perceived separately, but we need them to fall together. How to do that? We need to add them in a group. The plugin still perceives them separately, so we need to merge them. Click this button to link them, and now the letter and the circle are grouped. Let's check another example. We want one object to be static, but we want other objects to interact with it. Open the plugin. Rendering is in progress. To make the letter H static, click on the button Lock. What happens is the letter H stays static and other elements interact with it. Let's increase elasticity a bit so that elements become more elastic. What if we want the letter H to be static and its physical properties to be ignored? For that, we can click on the button Ignore. Now all elements are falling but not interacting with the letter. Let's come back to the Figma logo. We have a group of layers. It consists of a lot of small circles. Now, using a delay, we will create a cool effect. Here is the frame and the group of layers. All the layers are visible in the plugin as well. Choose the main group and click on the additional settings. We need a delay parameter. Click on the delay settings. Here we can set the delay range. For example, from 100 to 8000. And see what happens. Okay, maybe 8000 is too much. Let's put 3000. Rendering is in progress. What happened is, for each layer of the group, the plugin gave the value of the delay in the interval which we specified. Here's 298 microseconds. Below it's 192 microseconds. Each subsequent layer gets the value with a bigger delay than the previous one. This is the time when the object will start moving. In the plugin, the physical properties are automatically assigned to the text. Here, with the disabled gravity, we throw the circle and get such a great result. It's important to note the specifics of the text animation. Let's just type the text and open the plugin. We see that the text is perceived as a group. If we want each letter to be perceived separately, no need to split the letters. We can just apply outline stroke. Now each letter will be animated separately. Okay, another case. Now we'd like the figures to fall outside the frame. Let's move the figures of the frame outside the frame. Open the plugin. Nothing falls here. It happens because when the plugin extracts elements from Figma, it just exports the frame. But Figma itself, while export, deletes everything outside the frame. We need our elements to overlap the frame at least a bit. Okay, here's the first figure, second, the third one, last one. And look, in the plugins they are falling now. But we don't want corners to be visible. To do so, we need to rotate the figures in the way that the border of each frame overlaps the main frame, but the figure itself doesn't. Then the figure will be recognized by Figma as a part of main frame.
Фигура в фрейме, но ее как бы нет. Откроем еще раз.
Now looks perfect.
Мы видим, что фигуры появились.
Please note a specific behavior of disabled gravity. With disabled gravity, when we break our composition, part of our circles go outside the frame. It's due to the fact that the top border of the frame is removed to allow figures to fall from outside.
Представьте, вот это фрейм. Вот. И если, например, как здесь мы хотим, чтобы наши фигуры падали сверху вниз, то что у нас произойдет, если мы за границами фрейма разместим нашу фигуру? То есть
Because otherwise the figure will encounter the top border and won't be visible inside the frame.
Границы и проскользит. Сами границы устроены приблизительно
Here's
вот так.
how the borders were
У нас
configured.
она выглядит просто как
So, in the
чашечка.
other words, the frame
Когда
looks like a
из-за
cup.
границ у нас падает
When the
фигура,
figure falls
она в эту
outside,
чашку
it gets
проникает,
inside the cup
и здесь
and
уже
interacts
сам
with the
как
borders
взаимодействует с этими границами,
and
может
can go
вылететь
outside.
за их пределы. С вами немного поговорим
Now
про
let's talk about export.
дадим возможность
I'm
просчитать
waiting for rendering to complete. We see the result.
Про тот
The export I'd like to talk about is SVG.
это SVG.
Let's save it.
Давайте сохраним. Окей.
Here we see the file.
И вот у нас
How to open
появилась
it?
это та самая SVG анимация. Как ее открыть?
Right
Правой
click.
кнопкой
Open with the
открыть
browser.
в браузере.
In the browser we see the animation.
В браузере
Did you notice its
начинается
quality?
отыгрыш той самой SVG анимации, причем
If we zoom
обратите
in, we
внимание
see that the resolution
на
is great.
качество.
The file
И при этом
size is
она
just
занимает
139
139
KB.
Просто
It
вообще
doesn't take
ничего
any
не
space.
занимает. Наверное, это
I
первый
think
инструмент,
it's the first tool which make the work with
физикой
physical
стало
properties much
достаточно
easier.
легко работать, потому что дальше до
In
этого,
the
чтобы вам
past, to start creating
начать
of animations
физические
and to add
свойства
physical
добавлять
settings to
фигурам,
the
вам
object, you
необходимо
had to
было
know how to
уметь
use After
пользоваться After
Effects,
Effects, купить очень
buy the
дорогой
expensive
плагин
plugin for
для
After
эффекта,
Effects, learn how to use
научиться им
it.
пользоваться, именно Physics Animation.
To start using the plugin Physics Animation, you don't need specific knowledge. So try it out. I advise to check the library first, play with the templates, check how they are made there. Please add your comments below if you like the plugin or not.
Как вам понравился плагин или не понравился. Если хотите получить
If you want to get a promo code with a discount, please write us in Instagram. We can share it.
Отправлять промокод со скидкой на пользование.
Alright, thanks a lot. We wait for your feedback and have a good one.